Hi everyone, today's video is going to be my Paradiso vlog. So I had an early start in the morning, and since there isn't a direct flight to Kansas City from Edmonton, I had to take several connecting flights. The first stop was Calgary, and then to Atlanta, Georgia, and then finally I made it to Kansas City, Missouri. It ended up being just a whole day of flying and waiting around in airports. I gotta say though, I finally got to try Shake Shack at Atlanta, and it was a very, very delicious burger. Highly recommend it. By the time I made it to Kansas City, it was around midnight. I had a fun time trying to check into my Airbnb that night. After that, I slept in for a bit, but left the Airbnb at around 9 a.m. And Uber became my best friend this trip. So I took an Uber to City Market, and it's a historic little area in Kansas City. They have a very, very good coffee shop there. I highly recommend this place. That coffee was so good. In this area as well, they also have the Steamboat Arabia Museum. It is a very unique looking building, and I definitely want to check out this museum the next time I'm there. There's also a ton of cool shops in this market as well, and on the weekends there is a farmer's market, so that's something to check out as well. After checking out the market and walking around for a bit, I took public transit to get to the next museum I wanted to go to. The buses had Spanish, that was very interesting to me. I ended up passing through City Hall and the municipal courts. These buildings are pretty grand, it's amazing. And then finally, I made it to the next museum, which was the museums on 18th and Vine. It is two museums in one, and it features the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum as well as the American Jazz Museum. Unfortunately, it's not allowed to film in the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. However, I was able to film a little bit of the American Jazz Museum. Both museums were absolutely amazing, and they were really well curated, and the stories that they told were amazing to just read about and to learn the history behind jazz and baseball. After that, I ended up trying to find some food, and Arthur Bryant's was really close by. This is my first time trying Kansas City barbecue. The shop teller recommended the burnt end sandwich, and I had that. It was very, very good, and I would definitely be back, but I would be sharing my sandwich with a friend because that was way too much food. After that, I basically had to kill time before the Airbnb check-in time, so I took a walk around downtown. I love that the city is really walkable, and I found Constantino Market. It is a little market, which is super unique to me, because more than half of it is actually prepared foods. They also had a large selection of Kansas City barbecue sauces and rubs that you could bring home, and it was such a great selection. I wish I was able to actually bring barbecue sauce home, but I wasn't. Since it was a Friday, there was a pre-party swap meet at the Westin, and I attended with my other Airbnb mates. There was a lot of items for sale, as well as just seeing so many Lolitas in person. It was absolutely amazing. Made a few new friends, and that's always so much fun. After that, we headed back to the Airbnb and waited for our other flatmates. Way! That's not meant to be. At the market, I ended up purchasing cotton candy milk, and here I am trying it. Oh yeah, definitely cotton candy. Wow! I'm pissed. And then it was time for bed. Here we are for the first day of Paradiso. Since I only purchased a general admission ticket, my entrance time wasn't until noon, so I had a lot of time to kill in the morning. I ended up at Crown Center because the Hallmark Visitor Center was close by. I had a bagel for breakfast at Einstein Bagels. The coffee from Caribou Coffee was actually really good. And then it was time to visit the Hallmark Visitor Center. I ended up spending 2.5 hours here. There was so much to see and so much to learn about Hallmark as a company and the people behind Hallmark, and it was a very enjoyable experience. I probably enjoyed myself way more than the children that were there. I also got to hold an Emmy because, you know, Hallmark Channel programming is A+. Seriously, they've won Emmys for their shows and movies. It's amazing. I can just say all the good things about Hallmark. It was a great visit to that visitor center. By the time I got out, it was time to get to Paradiso, so I walked all the way over to Union Station, which is another amazing building. I mean, look at these ceilings. Absolutely amazing. So the event was held behind a curtain-off area in the station itself, and there was a very, very large marketplace. There were so many brands and items to purchase, and man, it was absolutely amazing. I loved seeing all these items in person. And then after that, it was time for the fashion show. Here are the video and photos that I managed to take for each of the participants. show was absolutely amazing. They showcased so many designers, and it was amazing to just see all the dresses and pieces on the runway. After that, we headed back to the Airbnb before heading out for dinner. Our dinner place is at Jack Stack's Barbecue. This is another great Kansas City barbecue staple. I love this place even more than Arthur Bryant's the first day. Highly recommend it. Definitely make a reservation if you're ever in town. And after that, it was time to sleep and get ready for the next day, which was the tea party. So my Airbnb mates had a brunch planned, but I wasn't able to RSVP for that. So I spent my morning at a coffee shop. It was a really nice coffee shop. I really loved the vibes. And then after that, I ended up taking a walk downtown and saw the really big library book mural. And then I ended up at the Little Theater. And it was another amazing venue. Everything was Art Deco styled, and it was absolutely an amazing building. There was a lot of time to chit chat with other Lolitas, and I really loved seeing all the Lolitas together and all the amazing coordinates. One of the main draws of Paradiso is the OG pageant, and it was really fun to watch. And I can definitely see why people come back year after year to either participate or to watch this pageant. After the tea party, it was time for the after party. So the after party was held at Tapcade, an arcade bar combination. So I got some wings, and the wings were American sized. They were so big. It was really, really good wings. Like, the barbecue sauce was so good. Kansas City does not play around with their barbecue sauces. Anyways, I headed back early to the Airbnb. And ended the night with some fireworks. And then finally, it is my last day in Kansas City. I ended up at City Market once again because I couldn't stop thinking about the City Market coffee. I also found another little local coffee shop as well. This was a hipster's paradise. Look at this interior design. And then I went for an antique shop called River Market Antiques. It was really, really big, and I spent way too much time in this shop. And I highly recommend it for those who are into antiquing. There are so many gems that you can find in this place. After spending way too much time in that antique shop, I ended up at Pig Witch, which was a highly recommended shop. I ended up with a basic sandwich, but it was so good. I'll definitely be coming back to Kansas City just for that sandwich. So that is my vlog of the Paradiso event and my trip to Kansas City. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've ever been to Kansas City, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!